Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Lauren Newley here, and today I'm with a very special guest, my husband, JC Newley.
It's nice to meet you guys.
AKA John. And I got a DM a few days ago asking kind of like about my relationship and hair loss, and I just felt like this was such a good topic and a really easy way to kind of like introduce you guys to John. And John, just so you guys know, is the man behind all of the video editing besides the cuts. So he does put a lot into making these videos for you guys. So let's give him a thumbs up on this video for saying thanks. But yeah, let's just jump into it. We asked on Instagram, if you're not following me, do so, what questions you guys had for TE and relationships. And we got quite a few of them. Some of them are sort of similar, so we're gonna kind of read them together. I'll read the questions.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so the first questions. Did he notice the hair loss or not really? Did you notice anything before she said she had hair loss?
When it first started, I think I did start noticing that there was hair like in the shower drain, in the sink.
The sink especially.
I do remember one time looking in the vacuum underneath, had a ton of hair caught in it. So I kind of noticed things like that, but didn't really put it together. I thought, oh, maybe girls just kind of always lose hair like this. But then after she kind of told me and it started to progress, I did start noticing it more and more.
Like the visible scalp?
Yeah, I do remember like maybe sometimes you'd be in the grocery store or something and you turn to grab something off the shelf and in the good lighting or the fluorescent light, you can just like see right through it sometimes in different angles. And then I'd really start to notice it more. But
and not that it was like super noticeable, or was it that it was like when you looked at me, were you like, oh, that lady has no hair? Or did you look at me and you're like, oh my God, she has lost a lot of hair? Or was it kind of both?
I think it was more that I noticed that you had lost a lot of hair.
Yeah.
That if I didn't know you or I was just in passing, I maybe wouldn't notice or wouldn't have thought of it.
Yeah.
But just because after you had been talking about it, and especially after it had been going on for a while, I was a little bit more hyper conscious of it. So I would maybe be looking for it.
Yeah. Okay. Did you ever feel insecure with your husband while you were losing your hair? Because I do. Okay. First of all, I feel you. Girl, pretty insecure. I think that was like a really big thing for our relationship. I think I've always been kind of like the more outgoing one, the one who kind of calls the shots, who wants to be controlling of everything and, puts us in a direction and we're going and we're doing this. And I think then I felt like that all kind of shattered because I felt so insecure. And so I just feel like obviously that translated to my relationship. I think I didn't feel as attractive. I think I definitely was depressed. So I think it's, living with somebody who has depression actively, I think that makes a big difference. But I would say in John's, not your defense, but just to point it out, I think that John did such a good job of still making me feel sexy, still making me feel secure. And I think that, once you're married, you better do that. Right. You better make me feel secure, even if I'm 10,000 pounds, okay, with no hair. But I think that it has less to do with him and a lot more to do with how I felt about myself. So I would say the insecurity was more coming from me than anything you were doing to make me feel insecure. Here we've got a triple one, but they were all kind of the same. What was his reaction? Was he supportive? Anything he can do to help? What did he do to help contribute to making your situation better for your TE? How did he support you through your journey and still today? Okay, so let's talk first about what your reaction was. So, like you said, you kind of just started finding hair everywhere, but there had to have been a time when I talked to you. I think what it was is I asked you if my hair was see-through.
Right. And you kind of showed me how much was really falling out. I think
he kind of tried to fake it. I think you kind of tried to be like, oh no, it's fine.
Yeah, always I had kind of been like, oh, I think it's fine. You're looking normal. I was always trying to be supportive and nice. But once I really knew something was going on, I just really wanted to be there for you and try to
not bullshit me.
Yeah, not give you BS or anything, but just try and be supportive in any way I could. Try and minimize the stress in other parts of your life because I knew that was causing so much stress, and I felt like, if the chores weren't getting done or things like that, then that was just compounding on it, and just trying to be there and be supportive and try and pick up the slack in other areas so that you could kind of focus on yourself and your health.
Yeah, so I think
really
you were really supportive. Those are like things that you can do to help. I think just like being there for that person in general. It's just like, you know, if you get a cold or something, like I think you kind of just go above and beyond for the person that you're in a relationship with at certain times. So I think that was a big part of it. What did he do to help contribute to making my situation better? But one thing that you've always done that's really nice is John will always, if there is hair in the sink or there is hair in the drain, you always take care of it. Because I remember one time you were like, you shouldn't have to look at that. Like, you already feel so bad. Like, you shouldn't have to, like, look at that and grab it each day and put it in the trash and just think about, like, oh, another day, another clump of hair, here we go. So I think, even, again, still today you do that. So I think that's really helpful. And I think, like I said previously, like, just still making me feel attractive, still saying, hey, you're beautiful or whatever. Right. Hey, even saying, hey, your hair looks really good today. Like, obviously, he knows that means so much more to me than probably any other person. So I think that's a really nice compliment as well. What was the hardest part about being in a relationship with someone with TE or being in a relationship while having TE? Okay, I'll go first. So being in a relationship while having TE, just straight up, like you just feel really insecure. I mean, that's really it. We've touched on it before. I think for us, it was extra hard because we were newlyweds. So I was supposed to feel like the most amazing ever. And this was the best time of my life. And it was like, I'm going bald. Like, this is not fun. This isn't fun at all. So I think the hardest part about it was, I think until I was like really honest with you and was like, is my hair see-through? Because I had been losing hair for sure before it was see-through. But I think once that, I think the hardest part was admitting it to you. And I think once I admitted it to you and we were kind of on a team together then, it didn't feel so isolating. So I think that you just feel really insecure and very isolated. So I would definitely say, talk to your partner about it. But what was the hardest thing for you?
I think for me, the hardest thing was that it is a long process. Like once the shedding starts, it's going to be months and kind of, you got to wait for the cycle to reset. And it got hard after 2-3 months, I'm coming home from work every day and you're talking about, oh my gosh, my shedding, it's getting worse. And kind of that every day we're talking about it, I'm worried about it, but there's really nothing that I can do to make your hair
or even
just
that
I
can do that much. Yeah, like it's just a waiting game.
Have a healthy diet or encourage you to work out or just live more healthy, but there's nothing you can do to just make it grow back immediately. And so that kind of that grind, that daily grind of, oh my gosh, we've been talking about this now for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and it's just finally starting to come back. At first you kind of start to get sick of it, but then you've got to realize, okay, I really love this person, and I just want to be there and be supportive.
And like, what if you were losing your hair, bitch?
Right, exactly. Anything could happen to anybody anytime. I mean, way worse things could happen where they lose their hair, or who knows, anything can happen. And so if you're in a committed relationship, I just feel like you've got to be there and be supportive. But going into it, if you have some advice, understand that it is going to be a process, that your partner is going to be worried about it. They're going to be talking about it all the time because every time they look in the mirror, they're reminded of it. Every time they take a shower, every time they brush their hair. So just knowing that it's going to be kind of a constant topic and that it's just going to take time for it to resolve itself.
I agree. I want to go back to the last question because I actually remembered another thing as you were saying that John did to be really supportive was, and you still do that today, John is obviously in great shape. And for me, okay, fine. You're not in great shape, but from the outside, you look like you are. You're healthy. Okay. Sure. Yeah, I don't know what I was saying. John is obviously very healthy, but he's just a naturally more like slender person. I've obviously had more issues with my depression, anxiety, and my weight and stuff like that. And one thing that I think you did that really helped me was when I was like, I want to go on a hair healthy diet. You were just like, all right, then we're doing the hair healthy diet. Like, we're just doing it. And if I want to try to lose weight or if I want to try to do that, like anything like that, or now that I'm shedding more and I'm like, hey, we need to be eating more protein, more healthy fats. I feel like you're always super, super supportive. Whereas I've seen other people in my life, their spouses are not as supportive. So I think that was really helpful for me because it made me feel like, okay, I have control of this. And he's not going to cause an issue. He's just going to go along. We're just going to do it. So that was another thing. Okay, these ones, I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit shook by these. Did anyone ask you what was wrong with her behind her back? Did you tell them the truth? Then, did you ever see looks from someone and not tell her?
Nobody had ever asked me, actually, behind your back if anything was wrong.
Probably because I like come up and I'm like, hi, I'm Lauren and I have hair loss.
So I never had to deal with telling them the truth. I mean, obviously, if she talked to somebody about it and I was there, I'd be supportive of the conversation and things.
Yeah.
And I never really noticed looks from anybody else. Like I said, if I hadn't known her and I was just in passing at a store or something, I probably wouldn't have noticed. But just because I had become kind of like hypersensitive and hyper aware that she was going through it, I would catch glimpses. But it was usually more when you're up close and more of an intimate setting that you really wouldn't be in with
like,
someone just out in public.
Who was glimpsing? I wish you would have told me at the time so I could have been like...
Right.
Do you have a question?
Right. So no, I never saw anybody or had anybody come up and ask anything about it.
But you saw maybe a little touch of something. That's fine. I mean, come on. Unless you're the most, literally, like, most removed person ever, you notice the looks yourself. I mean, I don't need you to tell me that somebody's looking at me.
Do you see people ever looking at you and think, oh, they're looking at my hair because it's thin, or?
I think only when I had, like, really visible scalp. And I notice people out today, and I think just because I have it, I'm way more kind of in tune with it.
I guess I would say that too. Sometimes I see people now.
Yeah, now. But before I would have never thought
anything. Going through TE because I can see.
But we didn't know what it was,
stuff.
so I would just think, oh, they have thinning hair. And I really wouldn't pay attention to it. And now I feel like I look and I'm like, ooh, do they have TE? Like, should I say something? So I feel like now more I notice it. But yeah, I definitely notice, like, especially my friends, like, God bless her soul. But my best friend from Atlanta, I had asked her one time, I was like, does it look really thin? And she looked me straight in the eye, and she truly did her best lie that she could do. But it was obviously a lie. So, I mean, I think you do see people looking at it. But, okay. Did you drive him nuts obsessing about it? How did you not annoy the shit out of your husband, my poor husband, and all of my hair talk? Okay, I did drive you nuts.
Well, like I said, that was kind of one of the harder things to deal with, is knowing that it's going to be something that you're talking about almost every day for months and months and months until it starts to resolve itself. So it can be a little bit crazy. You can kind of feel like, oh my gosh, we're talking about this again. Nothing's changed from yesterday to today.
You grew one hair.
Yeah, exactly. Or your hair's, those little tiny hairs have grown a teeny bit, but you just got to know it's going to be on your partner's mind constantly when they're going through it. So you just got to try and be supportive and just understand that they're thinking about it every day. And even if you know it's just going to be a slow process to get better, you've got to be supportive and be there on the daily for them.
I've talked about this in previous videos. I think one of the things that made the biggest difference for this particular issue of me driving him crazy was starting a TE journal. So I obviously am somewhat intuitive, so I did pick up on the fact that he was getting really annoyed of talking about this. So, as was everybody else in my life, to be honest with you. So I was like, you know what? If I have a journal, nobody can bitch at me for talking about TE the whole time. So I think once I got the TE journal, I didn't feel like, at least from my side, it probably to you seemed like the same amount of bitching, but I felt like I didn't feel like I had to rely on you so much for that comfort aspect.
Yeah, I definitely think that just helped give you that outlet that you could kind of like get those words out and get those thoughts out, instead of like bottling them in all day until I get home from work and then you just released them all.
Yeah.
You already kind
or
of
calling
that
you at
outlet.
work. I used to call you at work. I feel like I ended up getting to a point where I ended up taking my TE journal to work with me, because it was like, you know what? I call him during the day. That's not appropriate for either one of us working in the office place. And it would just be like, well, I'm just going to go in a little room and write for 5 minutes, which they don't know what you're doing. So I felt like that was much better. So I would say that really, really did help. But yeah, I definitely annoyed the shit out of you for sure. Love this one, and I love who this came from. You know who you are. Are hair loss jokes not okay? LOL. In the beginning, they are not okay. All right. And if I'm at the mirror crying and you try to make a joke and it goes well and then I start laughing, that's like a cute moment. But if you say it and it leads me into a downward spiral, it's just like, let's just not even go there with the jokes.
Right.
But I think now, I think now we kind of joke.
I think now it's okay. I think during the time when you're really emotional, it's just probably better to avoid the jokes, just because it could, it's a soft spot. It can be a little bit of a sore subject to talk about.
But I'm very much like that person that will crack a joke at a really inappropriate time. So I don't know. I think it depends on the recipient.
Yeah, I think it depends on your partner too. If there's someone who responds well to the jokes, that's one thing. But then other people might get really angry when you say a joke and feel like it's a very inappropriate time to try and be funny when they're going through that serious kind of emotional moment.
But I wasn't like that, so he really can't relate.
Not at all.
Okay. Were you still attracted to her, or did you lose interest? What did you do to feel attractive when you were going through TE? Okay, you answer first and then I'll answer.
I definitely was still attracted to her. I mean,
yeah, like we would not be together.
Never like, I'm not going to be with you, or I'm completely repulsed by you or unattracted to you. I think, you know, I was definitely concerned for her. I think there were times where I felt a little bit annoyed that she was still talking about it or still dealing with it, but I always just wanted to be supportive and help, and I never felt like I lost that attraction. I think that's something, if you're with someone that really cares about you, they're going to be supportive no matter what. Like I said, you could be going through TE, you could get cancer and lose all your hair, you could have any number of crazy things happen to you. And
I mean, I think it's just the same as it's like, okay, if something happened and you were no longer able to be exactly how you are right now, that doesn't change how I feel about you at all.
Right.
So, I mean, I think if I could answer it now going into the next one, I think if for any reason you didn't feel attracted to me, it's because I wasn't attracted to myself. Like, I wasn't confident. I wasn't confident in who I was. Like, I would say that's probably would have been the biggest trigger, more than the hair loss or anything like that. Right. It was that I was super insecure. So what did I do to feel attractive? I got hair powder. I focused more on my makeup. I try to focus on things that made me feel good. Like, I'm very much a person that I feel like if you do things that make you feel good on the inside, you're going to look great on the outside. And I just felt like the journaling, you know, picking out clothes. Maybe I went shopping. Maybe I bought something special to wear for a night out or something like that. Just anything that would make me feel a little bit better and would make me kind of forget about my hair. I felt like that always made me feel attractive. And I think too, when I kind of gave up and I was just like, well, I just have to accept this. I think that was a very like sexy moment for me. I think it was like, oh, well, she's like taking control of this instead of sitting there in the bathroom floor crying every single day.
Right.
So I feel like I just kind of like took control of it. So that made me feel sexy and attractive as well. No question, just a comment. You two are cute together. Thanks, girl. Were you ever grossed out by hair being everywhere?
I wasn't really grossed out by it. Like I said, I tried to, if I did notice it in the shower, if I noticed it in the sink or anything, I tried to clean it up and just like get it in the trash so that she wouldn't hop in the shower and have to see it and feel upset about it. I'm used to having pets around with hair and everything. Hair doesn't really gross me out.
That's me.
Maybe having to, you know, you have to get in the shower, maybe like unclog the drain or something like that. That's maybe a little bit gross, but honestly, that's just like, for me, not a big deal.
Sorry. Did you want to go out in public with her?
Yeah, for me, it didn't matter.
If you didn't go in public with me, we wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah. Sometimes I would notice that it looked a little thin, but it was never anything like, I don't want to be seen with her or anything like that. That seems just
And if
so
you're married
ridiculous.
to somebody who's like that, or you're in a relationship with somebody who's like that, let's just dump them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just not a thing. If you didn't want to go in public with me,
I can't.
Why are you married to me?
Yeah, right? Doesn't matter if you're bald or what.
Last question. I hope you guys did enjoy this, but what do you think made the biggest difference for her regrowing her hair? So we can both answer this one. Okay. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Sure, I'll go. I guess I think just getting on a healthy diet, healthy workout routine, and then getting in like a healthy like hair care routine, and finding the products that felt right and worked for you during regrowth, and then just also finding that patience and finally coming to the realization and accepting the fact that you're gonna have to wait for this regrowth cycle to fully get through and restart. And once you kind of have that patience with it, I saw your anxiety go down, and I felt like that just minimized the stress all around and sort of started making things better.
So I think the biggest difference when I was regrowing was, I know this is weird, but I think it was the lack of knowledge. Like, I think when I started YouTubing and stuff, TE, and there was nothing there, I think that lit that fire in me that we see in this channel today. It was like, ooh, like, I want to regrow my hair because I want to make a video about it and I want to be able to help people. Like, I think that for me was when I really was like, all right, I'm accepting this. I'm doing it. Like, let's just move forward. I think that was like the biggest difference for me, was just there not being any resources out there for people and me just feeling super, super inspired. So that being said, we both hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and let's give a big thumbs up for John for editing this video after this while I go out to lunch, and for also taking the time to sit down and answer these questions. I think this is going to be great. I think people are really going to like it, and thank you so much, and I love you.
Love you too.
I love you, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.
See you guys.